We record all our spaces on YouTube as well, since they're only saved for about 30 days here on Twitter Spaces. So we like to have them for posterity. All right. And we got the recording going. Welcome. Warm welcome to the Whalecoin Talk community. Welcome to the first AMA of the day. We got SHIBELON today with us and Adam representing. It's been a long journey for them, and we're going to talk all about it and some of the updates they have and everything like that. But Adam, before we get started, do you want to give us a little bit of insight into yourself, your origin story, how you find yourself working in the Web3 space, and then we can jump right into SHIBELON.
All right, perfect. Do you hear me clearly first?
Yeah, you're coming through fine. Yeah, go for it.
Perfect. All right, thanks. Okay, I'm very excited to be here. So my name is Adam, and I've been in this space for quite some time now. I'm one of those people who bought Bitcoin back in 2014, ended up selling it a month later, and I've just felt in regret. And I've been in the space even when Safe Moon launched, Safe Mars came into play. All these meme coins were still popping. So that's when I started finding more interest into crypto. So as I told you, I bought very early, and I started studying more and more about it. And yeah, so this is a bit about me. Is there anything else you want me to add?
No, that was just a short, nice little intro. I love it. I think a lot of us can resonate with that. Coming into crypto early and then moving on to the 2017, 2018 mini bull, and then forgetting about it. And then once we get this new nice season in 2020, 2021, we got a lot of people coming in, and it's nice to speak to somebody that's been around, to see all the hypes, all the memes, all the metas and everything. And I'm excited to hear more about what you guys have been doing. You've been around for a long while now, so maybe before we jump into it, you can give us like a nice little history on how you guys started and what you've been working on, and then we can jump into some updates and give our community a nice little overview about everything you guys are working on.
All right, perfect. So SHIBELON is not a new project. So SHIBELON was born in 2021, November 2021. That's when we first started. We launched on the Binance Smart Chain. So the way the team was set up is as I said, I've been there for a while, and I started looking to different projects and how contracts work and so on. So I started jumping to different Telegram groups and getting to know people here and there. So I got to know a few devs, which I'm still very well connected to, and I started knowing more about the marketers in the space and so on. So that's how I made the team at the start. So we were a team of 5. That's how we started. Currently, we're even a team of 7. We keep on expanding. We have everyone has a different duty in the team. So we have a marketer, we have a developer, we have the DApp developer as well that we'll speak about in a bit. We have 2 moderators. We have a head mod. We have a full team, and each one has their own roles and responsibilities in the project. Now, SHIBELON, as I told you, it started in November 2021 on BSC. Back then, we had a pre-sale on Pink Sale. But before I get to that, so why SHIBELON? I think that's a big question, right? Where did the name come from? So, as you know, there was a big hype on Shiba back in the days. So I thought to myself, you know what? Let's get something a taste of a meme into it. Get something a bit feisty, let people love it. So because I've seen that there's the traction usually moves with the meme projects more than the ones with utility. So I'm like, you know what? Let's make something that looks memey, but let's build a big utility into it. So Shiba. Then there was Doge Elon. I was there when Doge Elon launched on the first day. I was looking at the chart on Dex Tools. I still remember it was up 22,000%. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I'm like, you know what? Doge Elon, Shiba, let's put them together. Let's do a SHIBELON. And this has been quite a success. And there's a lot of more surprises to come. Thankfully that I used this name. This is more a story about SHIBELON. When we started, we had a pre-sale on Pink Sale back in the days. Our hard cap was 400 BNBs, and our starting market cap was around 400K. We went up to a high of 14 million. And that's sort of BSC. And then later on, how the bear market started around at the end of December, the market was just taking a downfall back then, and we realized that we're entering a bear market for another year. So we kind of slowed things down. And then now that we feel that the pre-halving is upon us, there's going to be a pre-halving pump, and then the halving is happening in about a year and 3 months from now. So we kind of ready to be leading in the bull market, because the difference between back then and now, back then we launched SHIBELON towards the end of the bull market and we still hit the 40 million. Now 14, 1 4. And now we're launching from the beginning of the bull market. So now I believe like the organic growth we're gonna start getting and the way that we built our utilities is gonna take us way higher. And what I say by now is now that we have expanded to Ethereum chain, and we just launched yesterday. So it's been under 24 hours since we launched the Ethereum chain, sitting at around 500K market cap right now. So that's a bit, I think, maybe a bit too much about it.
No, that's perfect. That gives us a nice little overview, and we can certainly appreciate, meme projects and fan tokens and everything like that. We've seen a lot of them do very well, including SHIBELON, and the fact that you guys survived through 2022. I know 2022 hasn't been a kind year to a lot of people, and we always say it's been good for builders, and now with the start of 2023, it's great to see you guys are tackling on new chains. And but before we go into all of that and how you guys decided, maybe you can go over some of the milestones you had. Like even in the beginning, you were backed by a lot of really hyped influencers. You had an NFT collection. You're doing all sorts of giveaways and engagement with the community. So maybe you can tell us something about how you guys have been building during this kind of bear market that we've been in for the last year or so.
Yeah, for sure. I think we had an AMA back in the days together when we launched BSC. If I'm not mistaken, maybe back in December. I think I did host an AMA on the channel on TG back then. And yeah, we have had the support for a lot of influencers back then. We had so many AMAs, so many giveaways. We were that token that was like just giving money every day. We're like, you know what? It's a meme. Let's just do a giveaway today. You know what? My favorite number. Guess my favorite number. Get $1,000. And you know what? Okay, join VC. Let's do a duck race. Whoever wins gets $500. We ended up doing giveaways, I think, worth like 20, 30K or something like that, because we want to give back to the community. The whole idea of it being a meme project is all about community building at the end of the day. So that was the story back then. We had a lot of support from TG influencers, Twitter influencers as well. We did a lot of partnerships back in the days. The NFT collection, I'll tell you a short story about it. The problem with it is that we launched it around February. So during that time, the market wasn't really that healthy, and like when we launched that NFT project, it wasn't linked to a utility. It was like, you know what, here's some pictures that you can enjoy that have a SHIBELON icon to it, yeah? But like that's not how it should be. So I have revamped the whole idea of how we want to do NFTs, and we're going live today in a couple of hours, but I'll tell you more about it when we get to the utility part.
Yeah, I mean, and I was just looking through the website, looking through all the socials, looking through everything, and it is like you say. If you scroll for long enough to our broadcast, you're probably gonna find the original SHIBELON that we did, more than a year ago, I guess, in our TG community, and it's been an interesting ride. Like I said, it's great to see people that have a vision, that follow through, that build communities, and I completely understand. There was a lot of people doing giveaways, doing all these sorts of engagement for their communities, and hyping it up. So it's great that you guys have kept the momentum, and it's brought you to the point where you're actually ready to deliver more utilities. You're ready to branch to new chains, and I'm curious what sparked this idea. What made you figure it's like, okay, let's go to Ethereum. Let's do something more interesting, and maybe we can talk a little bit about the token as well. I know some people might not be familiar with the tokenomics and taxes and all of that, all the boring stuff. Maybe we can get that out of the way and get to the fun part.
All right, sure. So let's start with the boring part, which is the tokenomics. So the way that we have built the tokenomics, we kind of made it very similar to the BSC one. ETH and BSC are very close to each other, more or less. So the way that the Ethereum tokenomics are built, we have a total supply of 1 trillion. Our ecosystem is 25%. This ecosystem can be used for anything that is related to our utilities. We have it locked up there on Flockify as well. Our pre-sale and liquidity pool make up 30% of our entire supply. And then we have a burn event that we're planning, and that's 10% that's allocated separately. We got 10% that's reserved for any sort of bridging activities. Now that I'm going to tell you what sparked this whole idea, and you understand where bridging is coming from. We got 10% that's going to staking reserves. That's also part of the utility that's going live. We have 10% for centralized exchanges. Now, centralized exchanges require you to have a market maker, which requires some tokens from your side. So we have that set aside for this case. And then like a 5% in total goes to between advisors team and marketing, which is just there as an emergency kind of fund. Let's call it that way. One thing that I need to mention is the BSC token. It's been like 16 months now, I think, since launch. We're listed on 4 different exchanges. We're listed on LBank, which is I believe is a top 15 right now doing CMT. I could be mistaken, maybe number 16, 15, somewhere across around that range. We're listed on La Token. We're listed on CoinsBit, which is a data transparency partner with CMC as well. And we also have IndoX. Those are the centralized exchanges. Then the decentralized exchanges were listed on PancakeSwap. This is for the BSC side of things. We're listed on Uniswap, which is for Ethereum, and the most exciting thing you can say, we're listed on ShibaSwap, and ShibaSwap doesn't really have so many tokens out there, and we are like they're in the top 100. I think at the moment we're like top 15, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to Dex Screener, click on ShibaSwap, you can see the top projects there. So that's for the tokenomics, and that's where you can also buy SHIBELON. Now for the taxes on the Ethereum side, it's 7% both ways. 3% goes to marketing, 2% goes to development, 1% is the LP, and 1% is for the team tax. On BSC, it's very similar. Just the difference is that the buy tax is 4 and the sell tax is 9. So this is the boring part, all right? And now we go to the what sparked this whole idea, right? So SHIBELON has been there for so long that it's a brand for itself, right? And if we look back towards the last year and how the bear market has been cruel for so many people and projects, only a few have survived, right? There's only like barely, I don't know, I don't want to put a number to it, but what, 95% are no longer there? I'm talking about the meme coins or like these new launches. I'm not talking about the high utility projects. So like most of them just disappeared. And like I'm sitting here and I have SHIBELON on my hands. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep SHIBELON alive as much as I can because I know the day is gonna come where SHIBELON is gonna do something great, and the day has come. And this is what sparked this whole idea to push it. Is number one Shibarium. Now Shibarium is happening, right? And we saw what happened in Doge chain. I think that was like what 4 months back. Doge chain came out and all this hype that happened, which pumped Doge to brand like crazy levels, right? And then like all these Doge chain tokens start coming up, and like they had huge volumes, and we're going up in very massive market caps. So I'm like, this is gonna happen for Shiba as well. Shiba is releasing Shibarium, but Shiba is releasing their own chain, which is Shibarium. Unlike Doge chain, what we had there, that was not really officially from Doge, right? So I believe there's gonna be a lot of hype. And considering that we are holding a brand name called SHIBELON, like it can't be any more bullish than this to be on Shibarium. I think we have a very huge competitive advantage over so many projects once Shibarium goes live, and I'm really excited for it. And that's why I'm pushing the ETH launch, and we have launched yesterday. And once Shibarium confirms the date, which I don't know, they're always saying soon, soon, soon. I don't know, people are saying March, maybe April. I'm not sure, but the moment got a call. Yeah, so the moment it comes up, so it's assured that SHIBELON is going to be there and it's going to be on top.
I love it. I love seeing people that thrive through bear markets. I love people that see opportunities and choose to take it. You know, it's like you mentioned, you know, once, and I like that you're not afraid of new chains. And you mentioned some burns. Maybe you'll go a little bit deeper into when you plan on doing these burns. And also, I did see the bridge allocation. So what's going on with the bridges? Will people be able to transfer tokens from BSC to ETH and then to Shibarium? What's the plan around all this?
All right, so there's a lot of risk with bridges, as I don't know if many people know about it, but like bridges are one of the highest risky things in crypto, more or less. Even Vitalik said that talked about it, that bridges are very risky. However, that's why I'm not like doing a BSC to Ethereum bridge at the moment, because I'm worried that these tokens in between might go somewhere wrong, right? There's a way to exploit these tokens. So I'm keeping it safe. I'm keeping BSC and Ethereum like split into, and once Shibarium goes live, which is going to be a layer 2 as well, we're gonna study it. I already have a dev team that are just waiting for the moment Shibarium goes live for them to just deploy and then develop. I even have the dApp, which is going to include Shibarium maybe a day after it launches. So there's a lot of things that are coming. The bridge reserves are just when we want to bridge between ETH and Shibarium, or as well, like I'm planning to get on Arbitrium. Why didn't I do Arbitrium yesterday for the launch? Because it's a new kind of a new thing. It could be a trend which dies out sooner or later. So I'm too worried. I'm like, you know what? Let me stick to Ethereum. Ethereum has been there for a very long time. It has the biggest volume in the space. So I'm like, yeah, just let's stick to Ethereum. But in the future, I do have plans. I have Shibarium, I have Arbitrium. Maybe we go. Maybe Doge chain gets revived and we get there. Safe Moon chain is coming up. Maybe we'll jump in there as well. I want to make Shibelon global. I want anyone on any chain to be like, oh, I want to buy Shibelon. Oh, I can buy it anywhere.
Yeah, I love this attitude, to be honest, and yeah, I respect it. Arbitrum is a layer two on top of Ethereum, and there's a couple of layer twos that are EVM compatible out there, and who knows, if it's like you said, maybe if they get a lot more traction, if there's a need for you guys to be there. I love that you're ready, with the dev team, ready to jump on it, and I love the way that you mentioned earlier, you're positioning yourself as a brand, right? It's SHIBELON, it's fun, it's a meme token. It has to do with Elon and SHIB. So tell us more about the brand and how you're trying to position yourself and how you want to move forward. And maybe you mentioned you're going to go into some of the utilities for the NFTs. Maybe we can start with that.
All right, cool. So let's start with the utility. So since Shibelo is a brand, it's not just a meme coin. Now the branding is meme, but I'm building a completely new ecosystem, right? So the ecosystem consists of many different things, and the first thing is going to be the cross chain, which is already starting. We have the BSC there. We have the Ethereum that launched yesterday. We're gonna be having Shibarium, and then we're gonna have Arbitrium. Like whatever we feel that it's safe, we're gonna be on there. So as I spoke about it earlier. Now, the second thing as part of our ecosystem is the NFT, right? Now, we did have the V1 NFTs back in, I think, 1 year ago. Now, the holders of those NFTs are going to be airdropped two NFTs instead of one. So if they're holding one NFT from the previous launch, I'm going to airdrop them two of the new launch. Now, what is the difference, right? Number one, the new NFTs are way cooler. They look just amazing, and I'm gonna be sharing the link to the dApp in about an hour and a half to the community and announcing it that it's gonna go live. Number two, I've put that utility into the NFT. Now, what is this utility? Some projects, what they do is they release NFTs and they tell you can stake your NFT. I haven't done that, right? Like NFT staking, I find it's like basically you're giving tokens out of circulation for free just because someone has a picture, right? This doesn't make sense for the long term of a project. So what I've done is if someone is holding an NFT, they can access the staking tab. Now, if you're holding one NFT, you can stake up to 180 million tokens of Shibelon. If you're holding two NFTs, you can stake up to 360 million, blah blah, etc. So I want it done in a way that all right, NFT holders have an advantage of holding this NFT because they can access the staking pool, which will reward them with tokens by staking their own tokens. And by doing so, I will ensure that the longevity of the project is there. The APYs that I have implemented for the staking are not crazy high. I'm not putting like 100,000, 500,000%, like some unsustainable projects I've done, right? I'm doing something very simple. I'm doing around like 500%, 600%, and I have four different locks, right? So if you have, for example, so the NFTs, I'll just get back to that for a second. The NFTs have five different rarities. They have common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. The legendaries are around 0.2% of the total supply, right? The total supply is 1,000, but the max supply is 3,000. Now, what's the difference between both? Yeah, the total supply is the one that I'm going to release to the public. Once we hit 1,000, I'm gonna post. But we have up to 3,000. Now, why do I have it up to 3,000? It all depends on how the traction is, right? So if there's more people who want to get access to this NFT, because at the end of the day, it's a utility card. If they want to access this NFT, then you know what? I'll open up for more so you can get some more mints out. Having said that, so each NFT that you pull from common to legendary is going to have a different APY for your staking. So this will push people to keep minting and try to mint so that they can get these rare or legendary NFTs. And they will want to mint more because if they mint more, they can stake more. So for them, I'm what's the word, incentivizing them to do so, right? And while you're minting the NFT, the mint price is going to be 0.25. It's getting released on BSC for starters. It's going to be 0.25, of which 10% automatically goes to the buyback. I don't need to do it manually. You mint it, boom, there's a buy on the chart. You mint it, boom, there's another buy on the chart. So this is also one part of things that we thought of to make sure that the project is very sustainable from staking perspective. Now, if you have a legendary NFTs, your APYs are very high, right? But there's going to be 4 different pools in our staking. Our staking pools are going to have longer duration than usual, simply because we are a project that's been here for quite some time, and like people are comfortable that we're going to stay here for a longer period of time, more or less. So the way it works is there's 4 pools. One pool, I believe, is 60 days. Another pool is 120 days. A third pool is 240 days, and the fourth pool is 365 days. So basically, staking for a whole year. Um, what benefits you by staking for a whole year? There's a multiplier. So if I just stake my NFT into the lowest one, I don't get a multiplier. If I stake it to the maximum days, I get like a multiplier of 2.5x. So if my APY is like 200%, I'll stake it for a whole year. I'll get an extra 2.5x on that 200%, which makes it a 500% APY. So that's for the staking and NFT part. Now, why am I saying it's an ecosystem, right? This is not really an ecosystem. It's just a utility that I just talked about. What makes it an ecosystem is my DApp is going to have the opportunity to different projects across different chains to come in and register their pool with me. So, for example, some new project came out. They will tell me, you know what, I need a staking pool. Can you provide a staking pool? So I'm giving them this opportunity instead of them going looking for a dev team, trying to develop something from scratch, and God knows how many mistakes there will be, like left and right, and you don't know if you're gonna find the right dev team. It's gonna take you maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks to get it done. So for me, I'm like, you know what? Send me your project. Let me review it. If I like it, if it looks good, 24 hours from now, your pool is going to be there. So if Project X tells me I want a pool, I will tell them, okay, done, it's confirmed. Just tell me what are your APYs, tell me how much the lock period you want it to be, and it's going to be implemented within the next day. Now, what's the benefit of SHIBELON by doing this? Again, we go back to the fact that you need the SHIBELON NFT to use the DApp. So all these people who are coming from the different project to stake their tokens from the other project, they will need to buy a SHIBELON NFT to be able to stake those tokens. And this will make an ecosystem as well. So those are like 2 utilities. I'm just catching my breath. and
Yeah, no, no. This was yeah, it's really interesting, right? So you buy the NFT. The NFT gives you access to the staking pools. Now, according to which rarity for the NFT you get, then you get a higher APY, and each NFT gives you, I believe you said 1.8 million allocation in the vault, sort of that you can lock there. And then from the buys of the NFT, you also mentioned you're gonna do some buybacks, and you mentioned there's 4 pools for I guess I personally like pools that have like locking period, and people know exactly what they're doing. But on top of that, you mentioned this sort of white label solution that you're basically offering, from what I'm understanding, for free to other projects that want to basically just build a vault with you, or a staking pool, and provide some extra incentives for people in your community to jump on board with them. But at the same time, you're stimulating your own, because they have to buy the NFT in order to participate in the pools. So I get why you're calling it an ecosystem, because it kind of flows back into itself and everything moves quite smoothly in it. And now I have well, first off, I hope I got it right, and if I did, I got a question. So if you do buy the NFT and you stake in the vault, can I then sell my NFT, or can I transfer it, or can I move it to another account and stake some other, or how does that work? Does that lock the NFT?
This is a very, very good question, and this is something we thought of. We're like, you know what? What if someone stakes his tokens and transfers the NFT out? I'm like, no, hold on. If you gonna do that, it's not allowed, right? So what we did is, if you want to use the pool and stake your tokens, you will stake your NFT as well, and the DApp will show you that your NFT is staked. It's not going to be in your wallet anymore. It's going to be in the vault, so you cannot really transfer it. You cannot sell it. So it's done. It's being staked up until the pool is open. Then you can take it back.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, that's a good way of going about it. And you also mentioned the price. I didn't quite catch it. You said you're first going for a BSC and it's going to be 0.25, or did I get that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're going to be launching it in a couple of hours on BSC, and then in a week's time or 5 to 7 days time, we're going to have it on Ethereum. So the way it's going to be done is basically the same way how when you use a dApp, if you look on the top right, it says connect wallet, and then it says like choose your chain, right? So I'm going to have just the same exact thing. So you just have to choose your chain. Now, the BNB, the BSC NFTs are going to be for 0.25 BNB, and the ETH NFTs are going to be for zero point 0.1 ETH. They're going to be exactly the same because at the end of the day, they look cool already. I don't need to make another batch, but they are more of a utility card rather than just a picture.
Yeah, and I see the NFTs do look pretty cool. I was on the website, and they're well, I don't want to say caricatures, but their depiction of certain, famous characters and all that. I see Pikachu and Naruto and Aang and all that. So there's different themes here. How did you come up with this, or is there a particular artist you worked in who came up with the idea of the theme and all the characters? I see, from the Joker to all the universes combined.
Yeah, so we sat down one day. We're like, you know what? We need to have like at least 20 unique NFTs. 20 unique NFTs meaning like they should link to some character in some game or some movie where people can relate with. So at the end of the day, if you just do some kind of NFTs and you automatically generate them, they're randomly generated, people will not reminisce with the NFT, right? But if you give them a character that they like Deadpool, or I don't know, there was like Yasuo from League of Legends, or you can Venom, for example, and get him. So they will see it, they think it's very cool. So they will feel like minting one to hopefully get something like that. And these unique characters are the rarest NFTs. They're basically legendary and epic.
Right. So the fancy ones, if you're looking for a Superman or a Batman or a Thor, something like that, those are going to be the higher tiers, right? But I'm assuming once you mint these NFTs, they're openly tradable, right? So people can actually trade them and not necessarily just lock them in the vault. They can just keep them and sell them for a higher price or something like that, right?
Yeah, so they'll be tradable on OpenSea. Now that OpenSea has implemented the BSC, I believe, like, I don't know, 2 months back, if I'm not mistaken. So you can trade them on OpenSea if you don't want to stake it, or if your staking pool has expired and you feel like you want to sell the NFT, you can just list it on OpenSea.
Okay, very cool. And is there like a waiting list? Is there how can people mint the NFTs? Will it just go live and it'll be first come first serve, or is there like a white list for the first people? How does it work?
So no, it's gonna be like first come first serve. So the minting is going to start tonight, and whoever wants to mint an NFT to support the project, they can do it. And whoever wants to mint an NFT so they can stake their tokens, they can do it. As I said, there's like 1,000 total supply, and there's up to 3,000 for a max supply. So I believe there's enough for everyone.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. Well, yeah, I think some people will be actually interested in the sort of mini gamification of the system as well, right? And try to bring maybe some of their favorite projects to onboard with you guys, just for the sake of getting into one of their pools early or something like that. So I love to see that you guys are taking the brand and business approach. And I was also reading on your website that you plan to engage your community and have them sort of bring not projects but either teams or different opportunities to you, and then you guys would invest in sort of a DAO way and receive airdrops through competitions and things like that. Can you give us some details on the vision there?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two big things that I want to speak about here, which is one is making shibillionaires, and the other one is like charity support. So the way that it works, as I said, that there's a 10% of the minting fee goes directly to a buyback, and then there will be an allocated fee from those NFT sales that's going to go to charity. Now, when will this happen? We are also developing a DAO system within our dApp. This is the so we have NFTs there, we have staking there. We're gonna have a middleman escrow service there, which I'll get to right now, and then we're gonna have the DAO service. So the way it works is you need to connect your wallet, and the higher allocation you have of tokens, then you have more rights for the voting system, right? And the charity part of this is we're gonna like shortlist around 5 different charities whatever it could be, whether it's religious or it's just feeding someone or helping the homeless, etc. Right? We'll list them like 5 different options, and we'll tell the community you can jump in and make your vote. And then once like the timer expires for the vote, then we can complete the donation for this charity, and we'll provide all the official documentation for that. Now that's one for the charity. The second part is making Shibiloners. Now what we try to do is we also want to support people. There's so many people out there that's so smart that have so much things that they can do, but they just don't have the capacity to do it, whether it's monetary capacity or they cannot find the right developers or they cannot find the right marketers whatsoever, right? So we want to provide them this service, right? Like for me, myself, I also have my own channel on Telegram. I'm also a marketing incubator. I have a team of developers, and I would love to support projects. Like I don't mind funding projects what I find very interesting, and where the team will come to me and say, yeah, we have this very cool idea, and if I like it, if the team likes it, then we'll think of a plan of how we can support it. Kind of similar to how a VC works, but with a twist to it, because the community is going to select the project via the DAO system that we're going to have on the DApp. I believe it's going to be coming in around 2 to 3 months' time, so first half of this year. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I love this. I love this because I appreciate people like you that realize this is not a zero sum game. If people have good ideas and they need some support, of course, that this is why we're doing all these broadcasts. This is why we're trying to educate people. This is why we're trying to get more people in contact with everyone. It's still a bear market, still a builder's market. So I'm happy to see that you guys are taking this route. So a couple of questions on this. It's super cool. Now, first off, does it have to be a project or something related to the SHIBELON ecosystem? Will you guys sort of implement some sort of tax or anything like that? Will you charge for the service to benefit the SHIBELON ecosystem, or is this something that you can offer somebody that has something, I don't know, completely unrelated, that wants to do something with the real world fractional ownership of something through NFTs or anything like that? Or is it a requirement to be sort of somewhat related to your ecosystem?
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be related to the branding. Like this is completely separate, but it needs to link back to the ecosystem. So the way it links back, for example, maybe we can say that the ones who are participating in the whitelist of a pre-sale that's coming up, they need to own a Shiba NFT. That's just an example I'm throwing out there. And for example, we can also say, like, depends on the project. It's going to be different case to case. But like, let's say a project has some certain taxes, and we believe that tax is the way to go. So we can tell them, like, all right, you know what, 1 to 2% taxes is going to go directly for Shibelon's development of the ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're going to be funding it. Yes, we're going to be supporting it in any different way. But we need to have a benefit to Shibelon, because we're not just how do you put it in words? We wanted to link back to Shibalon ecosystem, whether it's them using our applications or them like giving us from the taxes, or them making sure that their community is holding our NFTs and so on. These are just a few examples.
Yeah, I completely understand. You want you don't want to put like a hard tax on them or anything like that, but you do want them to appreciate the fact that you've been incubated by Shibelon, right? And to drive something back to you guys. And you mentioned also DAOs and an escrow service. Is this going to be sort of a white label, something that you sell or offer along with all the development of the contracts and all of this, or how will that work?
Well, can you just repeat the last question? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I was referring to the DAO and to the escrow service that you hinted at. Is this something that you're going to be implementing for yourself, or is this again one of these services that you will also be offering to your partners or to people that you onboard?
All right. So for the middleman escrow service, this is one utility that I really thought of, which I suffered from, and I believe so many people in the space suffered from. Like I want to find a way to make it better. I want to make it easier for people to find the right sellers of certain products, or just to feel safe, right? So the whole idea of this middleman DApp is that you know how some people come up to you on Telegram and tell you, hey, you know what, I can offer you textiles trending for I don't know what, for like $1,000, but you need to pay up front. Or for example, I'll get you listed on exchange XYZ, but like you need to pay me 5K up front, right? You don't know these people, but some of them maybe it's like a good percentage of them can actually be legit, can actually be good people who are trying to give you a service at the cost price, but they don't have the means to reach you because there's already too many people in the middle that are eating off this extra how they call extra commissions left and right, which when you want to do the service, it comes up to be $6,000, but it only costs like $1,000 from the supplier, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm connecting both of them into this DApp, right? You're a buyer, whether you're a buyer or a seller. To make sure that you're safe, you will come up to our DApp, you go to our middleman escrow, and then you need to fill up a certain questionnaire there, which will include like what kind of service is being provided, what is the deadline of the service, what is the total amount to be paid, what is the currency, what is the receiver's address, what are the terms of the agreement, and like the contact of both parties. And let's say I'll just throw an example out there. Let's say someone came and said, "I'm gonna list you on Binance," yeah, and he said it's $5,000. It's just an example. He cannot list on Binance for 5,000, but I'm just throwing it out there, yeah. So he will say, "All right, let's do it. Let's go to SHIBELON app." They jump in there. The buyer and seller. So the buyer is going to list everything, all the items there. And he's gonna say, "Okay, this is what we expect." The seller needs to confirm it from his wallet because he's going to need to input the seller's wallet as well. Both wallets are going to be connected. Once that confirmation comes from the buyer and the seller with the duration, then they need to process it, right? So let's say he put a 48-hour period. After 48 hours, the buyer needs to come and say, yes, the seller has delivered the service, all right? But before, sorry, I missed one small part. So when the buyer inputs all the information, they need to send the $5,000 into the certain wallet within SHIBELON DApp. Now, what happens to this money? It gets stuck in our DApp. The moment that both parties say, yes, I have completed the service as a seller, and yes, I have received the service as a buyer, that's when this $5,000 gets moved from the DApp into the seller's wallet. Now, we also thought about what if, like, let's say the seller has provided everything, but the buyer is like acting as if nothing happened. So we're gonna have also a support team for that that's going to resolve these kind of issues. So we'll need proof of everything. We want to see what was done and if it was done or not, and we're gonna check from both parties to ensure that everything is fair. Now, how does it link back to our ecosystem? There's a 2% fee on it. So if someone is putting like $1,000, then we're gonna take a 2% fee, which is going to be like $20 just for using our services.
I love it. I love it. I was going to ask while while you were explaining, if some people want to act malicious, what's going to happen. But it seems like you guys have it all planned out. So it's lovely to see that you'll have this for yourself. So I'm curious what people will be using this for. And like you said, there's a myriad of services. I like that you're basically taking it upon yourself to connect these builders or people that have good ideas to service providers, and make their jobs easier for them. I guess everyone that's ever been to, involved with any type of communities or channels or anything like that know what happens with all the marketers and all the TMs and all of this. Now, I see we got some people that want to ask questions as well, but I want to ask a few more myself, and then we'll get to people from the community. First off, how can people apply for this, right? So I love it, right? I love making Shibeloners. I know about a project. I want to send them your way. What are the steps? Do they have to go through a strict onboarding process? Do they need to have something, I don't know, like a pitch deck? Do they need to have something put together? What are some of the requirements to get started, basically?
Yeah, so we are still building it within the DApp. So in the DApp, first we have the NFT and the staking, which is getting released today, and then we're gonna have the middleman DApp, which is going to be released in about roughly a month's time, and then within the next 3 months, we're going to release the DAO system, and making Shibeloners is going to be one of those that comes after it. So we're expecting somewhere between June to August maximum, around that range. At the end of the day, it shouldn't take us much time because it's all about inputting the right information and then us meeting you, right? It doesn't involve any coding, but we want to make sure that all our utilities are correctly put there and everything is done nicely, because we need the DAO ready before we launch the Making Shibeloners, right? Because they're the ones who are going to vote for the right communities, vote for the right people who have certain projects to push, basically. So once the DAO is done, which is I'm expecting in June, then June, July, we would have that within our DApp.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds amazing. And yeah, before I open it up to questions from the community, I guess you've never been asked this before, but I'm going to ask you now for the first time in your life. What are some of the marketing plans that you guys have? For the next quarter or two. How are you pushing this?
Oh wow, that's the first time I hear this kind of question, man. Let me think about
Yeah.
it. I really hate this question when it pops up, to be honest. But like, it's fine. You know what? I'll tell you. Fine. So for marketing, for me, I'm a true believer that if you push out a lot of calls or a lot of influencers all at once, it will create a huge pump and dump, which we don't want. And once a pump and dump happens, there's all going to be a lot of people who bought the top who are going to be like very sad. They're going to be funding a lot. So the way I'm going to flow marketing is I'm going to be doing a lot of AMAs. So now I'm here. In 2 days, I'm gonna be somewhere else. Over a week, I'm planning to do like 3 AMAs a week just to educate the people about the project. Because I want people to listen to me. I don't want them to just see a post. I want them to hear me. I want them to hear my voice. I want them to understand what the project is all about. So that's why I'm gonna be doing a lot of AMAs. That's one. Two, I want us trending. So right now we're trending on certain bots on Telegram. I want us trending on Dex tools. I've already applied for CMC to list our Ethereum contract as well. So we're already there on CMC and CG. It's just a matter of updating the contract. And basically, they will add Uniswap and Shiba swap there. So this will help us with exposure. Another thing I believe that adds a lot of exposure and is a very huge marketing activity, which people really disregard a lot, is listing on proper exchanges. So I have my connections with so many exchanges, and I'm going to be doing gradually. Um, Definitely, there's a lot of calls that will be coming out, but I'm not gonna push like 50 in a day. I'm gonna be doing like maybe 3 or 4 a day, 3 or 4 influencers on Twitter, maybe 2 on TG. Like I want, again, it's more of an educational thing, right? More for marketing activities. I'm gonna be doing giveaways, like how we were known for giveaways back in the days. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a lot of giveaways. We want to build the community strong. I think there's a lot of things that I haven't mentioned as well. I'm trying to think of, but like marketing plan is very well set, and we have a lot of things in mind. But we want to release it gradually. We don't want to release it because someone on TG said, "Oh, when marketing." No. You know what? I'm not going to be triggered by that question. I'm going to take it easy, and I'm going to release it gradually to make sure that the chart is always looking nice and bullish.
Yeah, I completely respect that. I had to do it. There's always somebody that's gonna pop the marketing question. So, as a host, you gotta do it sometimes. Now, we've covered quite a lot. We went over the utilities, the NFTs, how that's gonna unlock the staking for you, the different rarities, when they're gonna drop tonight, in case you guys haven't heard. The marketing services, of course. Since you're connecting builders to service providers and being a marketer yourself, I would expect nothing less of having access to all of these tools that you've shared with us. And I love the way you're going about it. I love that you've been around for a long time. I love that you're still building. I love the fact you're going to ETH, and providing more utility for your communities. We touched upon the charity aspect and the making Shibillionaires, of course. Before I open it up to questions, is there anything that I might have missed or anything that's coming up that you want to highlight before we take some questions from the audience?
What I would like to highlight is we're releasing this DApp today in about 1.5 hours or some around that range, and you can start minting the BSC NFTs from there. You can start even staking. You can start jumping into the pools. One thing I want to announce is I'm going to have a partnership announcement today. I'm going to have a partnership announcement tomorrow. I'm going to have some really huge things. I forgot to talk about this in the marketing question. So I'm partnering up not with influencers. I'm partnering up with projects. I want communities to mix. I want communities to expand. So there's a lot of exciting things coming. Just a reminder, we just launched under a day ago, right? So I think it's been like 22 hours, sitting at 500K market cap. So it's still very early. I plan to compete with Dogelon. I believe we have more to offer than Dogelon. I'm not shaming anyone, but like we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. So yeah, on to you.
Yeah, a little bit of competition doesn't hurt. I think it stimulates all of us. And yeah, I didn't touch up on partnerships or anything, but I think we kind of did, because you did mention you're offering all these pools to different protocols, to different projects. So I figured you have something in the works. I don't know if you want to drop some alpha on us or not, but let's go to some members of the community here. We got Aisha up. Aisha, you had a question for Adam here? Go for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Acti. I want to know, have you considered filing a trademark registration application in the region where you operate? Registering your trademark with the appropriate trademark office can help protect your brand and prevent others from using it for similar goods or services.
That's a very nice question. Thank you for that. Definitely, I thought about it. And one of the parts of the ecosystem is merchandise. Now, once we start releasing the merchandise, which I'm targeting around the second half of this year, I want to register as a company. Shiblo will be registered as a company, and we're gonna have also like a fashion service under it. And then we're gonna be giving out all these T-shirts all across the world. So you know what, you need to wear it to be cool.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you for the question, Aisha. We also got Captain Levi up. Captain Levi, you got a question? Go for it.
Yeah, thanks, Akti. So I actually did have a question about still the merchandise, and then I also have a question about the utilities. The merchandise question I actually have is that you already just made mention that you'll be displaying fashion items on the merchandise. Would you be creating merchandise based on what category of items? And then will there be an avenue where long-time NFT holders will be provided with some kind of discounts?
Actually, that's a very, very good question. You actually give me an idea there. So yeah, I think that that's a very good idea. People who are holding an NFT can get a discount on the merchandise. I will 100% implement that. So I'll write this down. Very nice. Thank you for that.
I'm glad I could provide some feedback in that area. The next thing that caught my attention is the fact that you actually said on your roadmap 2023 that you will be revamping the utilities. I think we just already talked about one just now. And when you say you want to revamp the utilities, have you gotten feedback on what areas that you could revamp? And how do you plan to go about this?
Yeah, sure. So revamping the utilities has already been done. So this was part of the roadmap of 2023. This ideation of how the utility of the NFT is going to work, it happened in January, and this is how we're going to really be releasing the DApp based on it. So we're not revamping anything now. It has been revamped from the past since we were here since 2021.
That's actually awesome. Thank you very much for answering my questions. I wish you guys the very best, and I hope that the SHIBELON project stays bullish onward. Over to you, Akti.
Thank you so much for your questions. Appreciate it. And thanks for the feedback. I just put it on the whiteboard. Merchandise, NFT discount done.
Thank you for the questions, Captain Levi. Yeah, but people see NFTs, people think about utilities, people think about inclusion and all of that, and yeah, they go straight to merch. So it's I can respect that. We got Rahmat up as well. Rahmat, you had a question for SHIBELON here? Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Akti. Okay, so I was wondering how is the launch of SHIBELON on Ethereum supporting SHIBELON on Binance Smart Chain? Specifically, I'm curious if a portion of the funds raised on Ethereum will be used to support SHIBELON on Binance Smart Chain.
Yes, 100%. Let me answer that question for you. So before, when we used to market the project for like SHIBELON is there, we used to, when we say SHIBELON, people will jump in to our TG or check our website, and the only way that they can buy was BSC. So right now, when we start marketing with all the influencers and call groups, when we say SHIBELON, they'll have the option of, all right, I can buy on BSC if I'm a BSC user, or I can buy on Ethereum if I'm an Ethereum guy, right? So when we market now, it's coming on both chains. And just to show my support to BSC first, just because we had it for such a long time, we have a solid community for that. That's why I'm releasing the utility right now on BSC, and then I'm expanding it to Ethereum a week later. So I'm giving them this privilege and this priority as well.
Okay, understood. Okay, so you mentioned about this middleman platform. So I want to know that can anyone offer their services by providing the basic information which is listed on your white paper, or you will be verifying the credentials of the service providers like their qualification or experience, and maybe to offer quality services to the customers?
Oh no, anyone can use it. So if there's a seller who's contacting a buyer that he has some certain services and they agree on it, then they can come and use it. So anyone can come and use it. It's just they need to agree between each other, right? So if one does not provide the service to the other guy, then then like the money doesn't get credited to the seller's account, and vice versa. Whenever a buyer is not providing the right information, the same thing applies, right? So anyone can come and use it. There's no like hiring process. There's no interview process. So it's just up to you who you trust. Trust Shibalon and go to the DApp and use it there.
Got it. Okay, according to white paper, in case of any dispute, a team member will initiate a group chat with the concerned parties within the 24 hours to resolve the matter. Just to be clear, if a team member will the team member have the final say in determining the resolution of the dispute, or community members will also be able to maybe vote and decide the outcome?
So no, the community will not have an input on that. It's going to be decided within the team. We're gonna make sure that everything is done fairly. And once if there's ever a dispute and like we decide on an outcome, right? We will post it as like an call it a case study on the DApp. We can say, okay, this happened, and because this person did not provide the right information, or because this person did not provide the screenshot, or because this person said a service but it was not provided correctly, therefore this whole thing was canceled. So we're going to give case studies there so that people understand, you know what, let me not do this mistake and let me do it right.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, final question. So on your roadmap in 2023, it's mentioned that you will be integrating lottery form system. So can you provide more detail on lottery form system?
I honestly don't have much information on it yet. So it's gonna work as all the farm system works. So similar to how you have the farms on PancakeSwap, you have farms on Baby Doge. So I'm gonna have also a farm system within our DApp. I cannot provide you much information on it because I haven't started developing it yet. But it's part of the last quarter of this year.
Understood. Understood. Thank you so much for answering. Over to you, Akti.
Thanks for your question. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rahman. Yeah, it's an amazing time, and we've covered a lot. I guess the main update and what people should keep their eyes on is the DApp and the minting that's going to start pretty soon. And I assume that's going to be on the website, right? Is it app.shibelon.net? This is it, right? Where people can just select how many NFTs. I can see the staking pools here. You can check the rarities, and there's a trade type matrix as well here for people to check out. It's super exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's correct, 100%. I actually put it on the website. I believe like 12 hours back, or maybe yesterday late at night. It wasn't there before, so you did have a first look on it. I will announce it on TG very shortly.
Well, yeah, it looks nice and clean. Everything you need from a nice minting dashboard, along with the staking pools. I can see you got all the periods here for people to see, and yeah, it's really exciting. And I think we covered quite a lot today. We went over the history. It's like I mentioned in the beginning, it's great to see communities that have survived the bear market and are going into the next bull building, head first, and providing more utilities, whether it's the NFTs that offer you some, access to staking vaults for juicy APYs, whether it's, more token bursts happening with people minting the NFTs, where there's white label solutions, whether it's the escrow service, whether it's the partnerships and the charity aspect. So a lot of things coming for SHIBELON. It's definitely exciting. And since we're closing up to the end, you mentioned at the beginning, you're building into the next bull market, and you want to go head forward. Do you think this is the start of it? Let's have some fun, here for the end. Do you think we've seen the bottom? Do you think it's nothing but moon from here into 2024, 2025, or do you think we're going to see sort of like a rocky road ahead of us for a couple of more months, half a year, and from there on end we'll catch the good wind? What's your opinion on that? And of course, not financial advice and all of that, so feel free to speculate.
Absolutely, you're putting me under the spotlight here. So that's not financial advice. Don't listen to me. It might happen, might not. I don't know. But like for me personally, I believe that yes, we're entering a bull market. However, there will be a pullback there's a lot of things that are happening in the world, right, economically, which many people are speculating a recession to hit again. There's a lot of bubbles going on. So we could face another downtrend, but how long would it last? It's not gonna last long, right? We just came out of a 1 year bear market. Yeah, now this is the first month and a half, I believe, that the market has been like kind of bullish. And if you look at the past, right, if you look at the history, the way the pre-halving pump starts every time around, I believe, 400, 500 days between those numbers, a pre-halving pump starts because Bitcoin halving is coming up. So our halving is happening next year in May. So this is why the pump is coming, and I'm basing it based on history as well. And I believe that's how crypto has been. Like if you compare it to what happened in the past and then you look at it today, you feel like it's following the same pattern more or less. And apart from that, I believe crypto adoption has become so strong lately. I understand that we suffered through a bear market, right? But like even during the bear market, there's been a lot of projects building, and there's been a lot of non-crypto related companies and even regulated authorities that have been implementing crypto into their day-to-day life or day-to-day business, right? So adoption is there. I remember a few years back, I don't know what I use crypto for. You know, it's just sitting there in my wallet. Now I can go and just use a card and pay for my drink or for my coffee, or like I can go even buy a house with my crypto, right? This wasn't accessible back in the days. So adoption is there, mass adoption is there. Yes, financial regulators hate us. Yes, banks hate us. Yes, governments don't like crypto, but I feel like you can't stop us. You can't stop crypto. It's gonna take over.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. You know, there's no stopping, and I agree on the adoption side too. And you know what we've seen, we're doing broadcasts with people at the collegiate level. You know, with people that are at university and people in blockchain clubs and all of this. And what we've been telling people is the next generation of adopters is not necessarily going to be your grandma and your grandpa. You know, it's going to be these young Thundercats that have more access to information that we ever had. You know, back 10 years ago when this was all getting started, and they're coming in hungry, they're coming in building, they're coming in looking for communities, they're looking for projects that they can support, and they're looking for ways that they can engage with protocols in this DeFi space. So you know, I can appreciate you guys, you know, taking this approach where you're supporting the community, supporting everyone that wants to build something from the community. You're also doing some charity work. You're being very friendly and educating people. We know this firsthand. Education is not easy. It's probably the hardest thing to do, and it just takes a little bit of consistency. So Adam, this has been great. I love the vision. I love what you guys are doing. You know, we've covered quite a lot today. I hope we got to give everybody at least a nice little overview of the vision and what you're building and how you guys plan on moving forward. I think it's very interesting. I think the services you're putting out are going to be useful. I think, you know, other projects and teams are going to use this because why not? You know, if you can get a pool for free and stimulate another ecosystem and be partners with some of the biggest players and some of the longest living you know, projects around, why wouldn't you do it? So thank you, Adam, for being with us today. And if you have anything else to add, anything that I've missed, or if you want to just leave our community with a bang, or anything you want to add here, the floor is yours, sir.
First of all, I want to thank you for having time to host us on the Twitter space. It's been very delightful, and I believe we went through a lot of information, and it's been very smooth. I want to thank the community for the questions. Honestly, like I've taken so many things into consideration after those questions. They've been on point. And thanks for everyone who tuned in from my community, from SHIBELON community, from Whalecoin community, and everyone else. Thank you for being here. All I can say is make sure to follow us on Twitter. Stay updated for the latest updates, and jump into our TG. Ask a few questions. We're here to help you. People wish they were early for Doge back in the days, so now it's your chance to be early for SHIBELON. So thanks again, and I'm looking forward to hear from you again. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you, WhaleCoin Talk community, for tuning in. As always, remember everything you hear on these broadcasts is meant for educational purposes only. We don't provide financial advice. We can provide you with the links, though. If you click on SHIBELON right here, you can navigate to the official website. It's just SHIBELON.net, and you can engage with the community from there. They're super friendly, open, and transparent. You can ask any questions if you still have questions after the broadcast today. But I feel we got through a lot here, and I want to thank everyone for participating. We'll be returning in about an hour on the Aquarium account. We'll be talking about social proofs, check marks, and the future of NFTs, and all this account abstraction happening. A lot of interesting topics coming up. So plenty more to come from WhaleCoin Talk and the Aquarium today. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you all in about an hour. Thank you once again, Adam, for being with us. This has been a blast.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day ahead. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Cheers.